This is a 2002 Nissan Pathfinder with the 3.5 V6. I'm doing this video to help people out replacing the knock sensor on this. The reason being is because I've done a lot of research and looked all online, couldn't find anything about these 3.5s on the knock sensor relocation or even where the harnesses are. They have it on there for the 3.3 liters, but nothing for these 3.5s. Again, this is the 2002 Nissan Pathfinder. So what I did, I've done a lot of research, a lot of trial and error to figure out how I'm going to replace this or relocate the knock sensor without having to take this intake plenum off. The reason being is because it's a pain in the ass. It takes a good mechanic, I guess, anywhere from 5 to 6 hours just to take that damn thing off. And if you break anything, you're going to have to replace that part, obviously, and possibly put new gaskets on there and so forth. And it just seemed like a big headache for me. And like I said, I've done a lot of research, couldn't find nothing on these 3.5s on how to relocate. They have the 3.3s on there to relocate the knock sensors, but they're different. It's a different layout, and the wiring harnesses are different. And there's a couple of them that you could splice into a harness over here on this side, but I could not find anything on that wire cluster to find that wire to splice in. So what I did is looked and looked and looked. I looked behind there, behind the intake plenum, clear down there, and I saw where the wires went in to underneath the block, or the intake plenum anyway, to hook up to the knock sensor under there. And I traced them all the way back to this plug right here. So I held off because I wasn't sure that this was the right wires anyway for the knock sensor. I wasn't sure at all. So I had a friend of mine come over. He does electrical on vehicles. He's actually pretty darn good at electrical. And we did some trial and error. And what we did is I got a scanner and I cleared all the codes, including, well, obviously the knock sensor code that kept popping up. Cleared everything. We started it up, and we ended up pulling this harness right here, or this plug, and immediately the knock sensor pulled up on this. So we were, I originally guessing, I was guessing that this was it, but I wasn't sure. So we plugged it back in, cleared the codes, nothing was on, pulled it back out, and the knock sensor came back up again. So we did that a couple more times just to verify and make sure that this is it. And we come find out that this is actually to the knock sensor. So what I did is I ended up buying a harness, which is right here with the knock sensor. This is for I believe a 99 Pathfinder, the 3.3s, or the 99 Nissan Maximas, because I couldn't find any harness for the 3.5. I don't know why. Even I called the Nissan dealership and they could not find any harness or anything for this 3.5. Seems like it's hard to find things for this. So I ended up just buying this 99 Maxima or Pathfinder harness and knock sensor for it. So what I'm going to do is, originally I was hoping that this might just plug into there, but obviously it's different. They're about the same. They're not going to plug in. So I'm going to have to either splice into these wires and connect the wires together, or I might just peel this off, this casing on there, and see if these prongs will fit into there. And if it does, great. If not, then I'll just have to cut into these wires and just hook them up. And a lot of people recommend putting the knock sensor, when you relocate it, on top of the intake plenum. That's good. That's okay. It will do its job. But I found a better spot to relocate the knock sensor, which is down here. See that water pipe running across right here? And I already took the bolt out. It's right there. You see that? That bracket that's holding this water pipe up? That's where I decided to install it. The reason being because it seems like it's in a better position and closer to where the original one's at. So that's where I decided to install it. I checked. This harness is long enough. Everything will reach, even if I have to cut into the wires, or if it will just, if I could peel this off and hopefully plug those prongs in. But most likely I might just have to, splice into the wires and hook it up that way. So, because I'd already checked the wiring harness is going to reach and everything. Took the bolt out, obviously, the bolt's too short. It's not long enough. This is the bolt right there. There's no way that this bolt's going to work. See how short it is? It doesn't even go through the knock sensor anyway. So that's not going to work. So what I did is I went to O'Reilly, got me new bolts, figured out the best ones that will work for this. And the ones I came up with that will give me enough room to get into there and past that bracket. Sorry, it's a little fuzzy. I'm trying to get it to where you guys can see it. But what these are, they are the M6 1.0 by 35 millimeter. They're the hex bolts with the flange. They're flanged hex bolts. And those will work perfectly. It will go in through that knock sensor and into that bracket, and it will cinch down perfectly. So they're the M6 1.0 by 35 millimeter. They're the hex bolts with the flange. And that will work out perfectly. That will go through the knock sensor and past that flange a little bit and into that block. So that should mount up perfectly right there. So I hope this helps whoever has the same issue as I have with this knock sensor on these Pathfinders, because I know they're difficult to get to. And like I said, with these 3.5s, there's not a lot on there. There's actually nothing on there that will tell you how to relocate it or where it's at. So again, it's this plug right here is what I'm going into. So this one right there we're not going to use because that's the original one that goes back underneath to the original knock sensor underneath the intake plenum. So it's the wire cluster. It's next to this oil cap. It's not that one, not that one. So it's the third one in on top. And we're going to plug into this one right here, because that's the one that goes to your computer and everything like that, sends the signal to it. So that's the one I'm going to plug into. Like I said, I might just have to splice into these wires. Great. If not, hopefully I don't have to. I'm going to peel this back, see if that will plug in with those prongs right there into there. It might or might not work, but if it doesn't matter. Still got to cut the wires. Like I said, the best position I found was that bolt hole right here. That's going to be the best position for it right there. Because like I said, I think it would get better performance closer to the original position that the original knock sensor's at. So it's that water pipe right there. It's right in front of your engine by the fan. Just pull that bolt out, get longer bolts, which are these guys right there. Sorry, it's blurry. I know my phone's not focusing, but hopefully that helps you guys out, because I know I've had a headache with this darn thing that won't pass emissions because of that knock sensor. So this will work out. Remember, it's a 99 Maxima or the Pathfinder 3.5 harness and knock sensor, and you'll be splicing into this harness right here. Not that one, this one. And again, it's next to the oil cap, and it's the third one in from your intake. It's on the driver's side, and that's where you'll locate it. Like I said, hopefully this helps you guys out, and hopefully it saves a lot of people some headaches. Thanks for watching, and if you have any comments and if this helps you out, let me know.